Hey everybody. Um, just want to intro this by letting you know that the weirdest things started happening to me when I was making this video. So it took me about a week worth of research and compilation and editing to do. And I kid you not, I swear the weirdest things just started happening. So one thing that started happening is like the first day I really started really researching this subject was the fact that I kept hearing tapping, so I would hear tap, 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 tap. Mind you, I have a cat and I have children, right? So you would think that, it's one of the kids, right? Mind you, it's happening like at midnight, 1:30. Now I have a toddler who's terrible at sleeping and I have a 4-month-old baby who also isn't the greatest sleeper, right? So you would think that maybe it's one of them. They dropped something, my toddler threw something, it's the cat. It's none of that. Everyone is dead asleep and I'm hearing tap, tap, tap. Now, I am a conspiracy theorist. Do not laugh at me. I am so serious and I also firmly believe in the spiritual world. So, excuse me, I'm getting over the flu. So basically, like I would get up, I go see where the tapping is coming from. I know you're probably thinking of every horror movie, like don't go looking for anything. But listen, it was driving me crazy, and I had a feeling that maybe it was one of my kids because my 9-year-old likes to wake up sometimes too. So like I'm walking around, I don't hear it. I'm upstairs when I hear the tapping at first, so then I go back to my computer. It's nothing, right? Keep working. 2 minutes later, tap, 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 tap. And I'm like, what the hell? So then I go downstairs and I hear the tapping downstairs. So apparently this tapping is messing with me. So I know better than to go to the door and I know better than to open any doors because, I've always heard and I've seen a lot of movies if you open the door, you're inviting them in. So I'm like, hell no, I'm not opening the door, whatever. So the tapping stopped after I was like, basically leave me alone. I'm doing the video, stop. So they stopped the tapping, right? So yesterday, I kid you not, it feels like something was just messing with me mentally. Like I had a lot of brain fog. Now, granted, we all had the flu this week. Okay, fine. But to have that type of brain fog out of nowhere, it was crazy. And then I started having issues with like the sound on my computer. Today the computer wouldn't even turn on, right? So then the sound wasn't working. I heard all this crackling. I tried to restart it, it wasn't restarting. The battery wouldn't charge. It was just like so many things that kept happening, and it was ridiculous. And I chalked it up to, you know what, they don't want me to expose them and say what they are, and I'm still gonna do it anyway. So here we go. Okay, so again, hey everyone, I'm the lady with the big mouth and the big hair, aka the silver tongue. So this is my channel where we're going to cover a wide range of topics such as, mysterious stuff. Occasionally I'll discuss a little bit of American history or global history. I don't know yet. Current events, family, true crime, a little bit of everything, right? Anything that you can, think of. But today we are focusing on the Dogon tribe from Mali and their possible connection to the reptilians, the archdiocese, and water spirits. Now, I know. You're probably thinking I'm insane, but yes, yes, y'all. I am for real, and in my opinion, a lot of these stories probably are true. How you interpret them may differ, but I believe that this world is not exactly what you think, and a lot of things that sound crazy might actually be true. They always say that the truth is stranger than fiction, so I want you to come with me down the rabbit hole of the Dogon people and see what I mean and try to connect some dots. Now, granted, some of these dots probably shouldn't be connected and maybe I'm just grabbing stuff out of thin air and reaching like an Olympian, right? But I, once again, am a conspiracy theorist and I invite you to indulge in my crazy just for a few minutes, if you will. And I apologize in advance for possibly butchering any of these names. And if this is your culture or you know someone who's a part of this culture, feel free to put the proper pronunciation in the comments or add what you know about these subjects. Or if you've had a personal experience like mine where you're literally getting attacked. Oh, and I forgot to mention, right? So at one point, someone kept turning off the lights in my bedroom. So sometimes my husband, he reminds me of the husband from the father from Everybody Hates Chris, where he's like, turn these lights off. They cost $5, $2, whatever, right? So I could have sworn that somebody was doing that to me, and I thought it was him. I thought he just reached his hand and flipped the switch. No, he was not even home. My son noticed it too because he was talking to me and he's like, "Oh, somebody turned off the light." And you would think that, the light would just be flickering. No, it didn't flicker. Someone turned it off. And then when I went over to the thing to turn it back up, someone actually physically turned it. It's not like they just affected the light; they twisted it. I have one of those circular dimming lights, like light dimmers. I'm sorry, I can't even talk today. But anyway, that's another thing that happened yesterday after my brain fog. So here we go. So please note, there's no hate speech allowed, no name calling, no violent language. None of that's going to be tolerated on this page. If I see it, I'm blocking it and I'm deleting it. Now that we have the house rules out the way, let's get cracking. Okay, so the Dogon people reside mainly in the plateau region of Mali, and it's said that they've been there for over 500 years. They fled colonization from Islam and ended up there due to the ease of hiding from their enemies, and all the caves that they have around made that very, very, very beneficial for them. A large number of these people have rejected modern technology and chosen the way to live the more simpler way of life, like their ancestors. Although some of them have conformed to Islam, around 60% of them still practice their tribal beliefs. They don't have an official written language, but their history and lineage is passed down through oral tradition. The approximate population today is around 600,000. The beliefs of the Dogon include the Awa Society, Lebe, and the Binu. The Awa is also known as the Mask Society. They're a prestigious group of circumcised men who perform at damas or funerals. They help transition the dead into the afterlife. This ritual occurs like every couple years and it lasts for several days. These masks are supposed to be depicting people, animals, and deities reenacting their history. The primary deity is Amma, and they say that Amma came directly from the stars and he's a microscopic being. They say that he mated with Mother Earth and created humans. They also believe in Binu. Binu is a practice where they reverence their various deities on totem carvings. This is said to have protective spirits attached to them and ancestral spirits. They build shrines in order to keep good fortune and protection. Lastly, they believe in the Lebe or Liwe. Again, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the names. Anyway, this is a serpent god. Going back to the original deity named Amma, it's said that the first ancestor of Amma and Mother Earth are the Nomo twins, Domo and Ono. Lebe is said to be their descendant, who was originally a man and transformed himself into a serpent. The serpent is said to have led them to the new land where they reside today. They profess that they are originally from Egypt and were taken from Egypt to Mali in an attempt to escape colonization. Until this day, they still reverence the serpent as their ancestral spirit guide. Now, I'm just going to backtrack a little bit. Once again, Amma is the guiding being, I guess, if you want to find it. He mated with Mother Earth and had Nomo and Numo, the twins. And Amma is sometimes described as a fish-like creature with the head of a fish and a humanoid bottom. He's mostly described as a reptilian water spirit. Now, when I tell y'all, this rabbit hole goes so freaking deep. I could go on and on about what a water spirit is and the effects they have on people. For example, me. I mean, it's ridiculous. However, I'm going to try to keep it real short and cute for the sake of time. So anyway, water spirits come from the marine kingdom and are all over the world. There are several different types. The banshees are from Ireland. Sirens are from the Mediterranean. Rusalka is in Europe. The Manikishi are known in the Americas, like North, South, and Central. Nymphs or Kelpies are known in the British Isles. Now, we also know of mermaids or sirens throughout Africa, In America, we tend to have the romanticized version like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, not realizing that the original story or origin for these beings are quite dark. Aside from that, mermaids, although portrayed as beautiful beings, they're known to pretty much hate humans. They kill us. They're not known to be friendly creatures. They distract you and lure you into your death. And in Christianity and other similar religions, they're known as demon or jinn. They're known for their sensuality, and many people believe that if a water spirit possesses you, it can lead you into like an immoral lifestyle, like adultery, addictions, vanity, anger, and they often target children. It's also believed that in these cultures, they give sacrifices and pay homage to these creatures. They can be passed down through generations, and unfortunately, their negative attributes, such as addiction or unsavory behavior, can be passed to the children. So many believe that if a specific generation is unaware of the sacrifices, it can wreak havoc in that person's life for no obvious reasons why. So if these spirits are not good and none of them seem to have any type of positivity linked to them, why do Catholic leaders tend to have a hat commemorating them? What am I talking about? Well, looky here. It's pretty undeniable that the hat that the popes and bishops wear looks a lot like a fish. There's an ancient fish god named Dagon, and his priests were known to wear hats that look exactly like the hat that the popes wear. This is a picture of Dagon. You think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. Anyway, the priests that worship Dagon, they used to wear hats paying homage to that deity. So maybe the Catholic Church just like fish as well. Who knows? Another thing to think about is the fact that the Dogon people have a very similar name to the god Dagon. Now, I haven't been very successful in finding any concrete correlations online between the two, but it's pretty undeniable. The Dogon people have reverence and they worship their ancestor, and he has all the same characteristics of Dagon. Once again, this could be pure speculation on my part, and I could be completely wrong. However, my tin hat is not wrong. My tin hat is definitely tingling, and they believe that there is a strong correlation between the two. And a lot of the characteristics that the Catholic Church has with their leadership wearing these hats is linked to other religions. There's a lot of paganism in Catholicism. Who's to say that Dogon and Dagon religions are not exactly different? Maybe they're the same and they just practice differently. Who knows? I want to leave you with a tidbit of information. As crazy as all of this sounds, the fact that skeptics think that, these people are just making these things up out of thin air and it just sounds so crazy. Here's some food for thought. About 100 years ago, like 1931, a European scientist visited Mali and he spoke with the Dogon people. He thought he was going there to school them. Turns out they knew more about the stars and even the human body than was expected. They knew about Sirius A and Sirius B. They were able to tell him things that only someone with modern technology would know. Things that were only discovered maybe 50 years ago. However, these people had an oral tradition tracking hundreds of years of star movement. Of course, to the Europeans, they were a bunch of uninformed and ignorant primitive Africans, not realizing that these people that knew more about the universe than they did. How could these people have this type of knowledge? How did they know so much about the circulatory system and about the map of nerve endings in the human body and the way blood flows without x-rays, MRIs, or any of that? These people didn't have electricity, no televisions, no iPhones, no iPads, no internet, none of that. However, these people knew for hundreds and possibly thousands of years some findings that these people were just now figuring out. Makes you think, right? Now, hopefully I've inspired you to be crazy like me and put on your tin hats. If you don't have one, go get one. They might have it on Amazon or Temu. I don't know. But, to all my fellow peculiars and even my skeptics, thank you so much for watching. Imagine a world where beings, humanoid in appearance, but fundamentally reptilian, live among us. These shapeshifters are said to wield immense influence over our society, operating in secrecy to control global affairs. Some theorists suggest that they are part of an elite group with a hidden agenda, manipulating key events throughout history to serve their interests. While this might sound like a lot of science fiction, proponents of the reptilian theory point to ancient texts, religious symbolism, and our supposed eyewitness accounts of evidence. They argue that the reptilian beings have been ingrained in human culture and history for centuries, guiding our development. Now, I want to emphasize that this belief is not widely accepted by the scientific community, and they overwhelmingly reject the conspiracy theory related to this matter. Skeptics argue that these claims often rely on misinterpretations, coincidences, or cognitive biases. Despite the skepticism, those who believe in reptilian theory feel that it offers an explanation for the seemingly unexplainable. They assert that the critical mass of people waking up to this reality could potentially lead to positive change, exposing the clandestine forces they believe to have played. In conclusion, whether you find the reptilian conspiracy theory fascinating or far-fetched, exploring unconventional ideas challenges us to question the status quo. While the scientific method encourages us to demand evidence, the human experience often involves navigating a spectrum of beliefs and understanding.